Hi, friends! Today we're starting a new unit in reading. I'm so excited because they are about folk tales. And I love folk tales. They're a type of fiction that often have a lesson. So I'm going to be asking you to look for all of those same elements that we've talked about in class with fiction in our story for today. And can anyone tell me what some of those are? Emma. Characters, perfect. Characters, who's in the story? Who's the story about? Wonderful. Andrew. Setting, where's the story take place? We need to know these things. What else? Is there anything else that we look for in our fiction stories? Sophia. Excellent. There's a problem sometimes. So as we read, I want you to pay attention to the story and see if you can figure out who the characters are, what the setting is, what the lesson is, and what the problem might have been. I'm going to start reading The Elves and the Shoemaker. Once there was a kind old shoemaker who had grown very poor. In fact, he had only enough leather to make one pair of shoes. "Look, wife," he said, "I'll cut these out this evening before we go to bed. Then in the morning I can finish them." After that, he said his prayers and went to bed. In the morning, he went to his workbench, and what do you think? Instead of two pieces of leather, there stood a neat pair of shoes. Did the shoemaker make those? Doesn't seem like he did, right? All right, let's read on. "Wife, wife," he called in amazement, and she came running. Together they looked at the shoes and found them beautifully stitched, but neither the shoemaker nor his wife could imagine who made them. Soon a customer came in. "What fine shoes!" he exclaimed, and offered much money for them, so much that the shoemaker was able to buy leather for 2 more pairs and still have some money left over to buy bread and milk. Do we see a problem? Yeah? What do you think, Cooper? What's the problem? They're poor. They don't have any money. Good. All right. So that evening, he cut out 2 pairs of shoes from the leather he had bought and went to bed feeling happy. The next morning, he sang as he walked toward his workbench. Then once again he stopped in astonishment. There stood 2 more neat pairs of shoes sewn with the greatest of care. "So well made," said the customers who came to the shop. "See the fine stitches? See how beautifully they're shaped?" The shoemaker quickly sold those 2 pairs and found that he had money to buy leather for 4 more pairs. What do we see happening here? What do we see? Emily? Yeah, he has money now to buy leather for his shoes. Excellent. You guys are so smart. And so it went. Each night before he went to bed, he would cut out the leather, and every morning when he got up, he would find it all made up into the neatest shoes imaginable. Soon, the shoemaker and his wife were not poor at all. One evening, just before Christmas, the shoemaker said to his wife, "Let's stay up all night and see who has been helping us so kindly." "That's a fine idea," said the shoemaker's wife. So they hid in a corner and settled down to wait. On the stroke of midnight, in came 2 little elves who hopped up onto the workbench and set busily to work. Their fingers flew so fast, stitching and sewing, hammering and taping, that the shoemaker could not take his eyes off them. In no time at all, there were finished shoes on the bench, and then the little men skipped lightly out of the room. So, who's making the shoes? The elves. Yeah, the elves. Good. And when do they come? What time do they come at night? Emma. Perfect. Midnight. They come at midnight. And who are our characters so far? Sophia? That's right. We have the elves, the shoemaker, and the shoemaker's wife. Excellent. The elves had made us rich, said the shoemaker's wife next morning, and yet the poor little things haven't any clothes to wear. Wouldn't it be nice if we could do something for them to show them how grateful we are? It's always nice to show your thanks, show that you're thankful for things that people give you or do for you, right? Oh, yes, said the shoemaker. I'll make them some tiny shoes and you do the rest. Coat and hat and trousers, said his wife, shirt and vest and stockings, all about the size of doll clothes. And she and her husband went happily to work. 2 days before Christmas, everything was finished. That evening, the shoemaker and his wife left no leather on the workbench. Instead, they spread out the pretty little clothes and hid themselves in the corner. At midnight, the elves came skipping in. When they saw the presents laid out for them, their eyes almost popped out of their heads. Quickly, they slipped into their new clothes and skipped around the room singing, "Tonight we have no time to sew. We'll wear these clothes and off we'll go." And with that, they went out the door, still singing. The shoemaker and his wife never saw them again, but their good luck remained, and they lived happily to the end of their days. The lesson is for what they did. Hi, friends. You did such a great job with today's lesson on folk tales. Now it's your turn to go and read some folk tales on your own and look for those things like we did in Shoemaker and the Elves. Setting. Where is it taking place? Character. Who are the characters? What's the problem? And what lesson did we learn? Happy reading!